Hello everyone, this is Shayan Siddiqui with you, an expert business and economics teacher, an educationalist and a professional corporate trainer. Welcome to my channel. Today's lecture is on sole trader or sole proprietorship. The lecture is going to be in English language. If you want to watch the same lecture in Urdu language, just click on this link. This link will lead you to my Urdu language video for the same topic, sole trader. So without further delay, here we go! Welcome back, and here is the topic: types of organization, sole trader. Moving on. The lesson objectives. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to understand the definition and explanation of sole trader business, and I will apply the concept on some real life businesses as well. The basic concept of unincorporated business. Students get confused in this concept. I will clarify that. Don't worry. Advantages and disadvantages of being a sole trader. Moving on. The key features of sole trader. Now, what is called a sole trader? First of all, when the business is owned and controlled by an individual, means by a single person, that is called a sole trader business. Sole means one. Trader, a businessman. Okay, one businessman, sole trader. So when the business is owned and controlled by an individual, that's called a sole trader business. And sole trader business is the most common form of business. Now, how is it common form? Just check out. Mostly the supermarkets in your area, the restaurants in your area, and freelancers and so on are all the examples. Mechanics, hairdressers and so on. They are all the examples of sole trader business. So it is one of the most common forms of business. Okay, sole trader is also called sole proprietor, and we can also call it sole proprietorship. Some students get confused in it, and some don't know the meaning of it. There is no difference between a sole trader or a sole proprietor, okay? And I really have seen some students, they did not write down the definition. They didn't even attempt the question. The question was on sole proprietor. And when they came to me and said, "Sir, I didn't answer this question because we didn't study that." Hey, come on. There is no difference between a sole trader and sole proprietor, okay? So that was a point that clicked in my mind, and I added this point in my slide so that you should understand it. Success or failure is the sole responsibility of an individual who owns the business. This is one of the features of sole trader. If the business fails or succeeds, this will be the sole responsibility of the person who owns it or who has been running it, like the sole trader. Clear? So these are the key features of sole trader business. Let's move on. In simple words, what can I say? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Great. All right. In simple words, what can I say? A sole trader or a sole proprietor. That's the reason I have been repeating this word in this lecture again and again, so that this concept should be crystal clear in your mind. Sole trader or a sole proprietor is an individual who owns and runs his own personal business. Owns, number 1. Runs, number 2. Number 3, his own personal business. Getting my point? Own personal business. That is called a sole trader. There are different examples. Hairdresser, over there you can see at the corner. Hairdresser is an example of sole trader. A mechanic is an example of sole trader, or any person who owns a workshop, is running any sort of workshop, is an example of sole trader. Photographer or the photographer is an example of a sole trader. If he or she is running a business which is taking the pictures of wedding pictures and something like that, it is an example of sole trader business. If somebody owns a website like stock footage or something, sole trader business. A chef. I'm also a chef on weekends, but that's not my business. A chef is also an example of sole trader business. Okay, moving on. Alright, so exam question. An unincorporated business. The question comes in exam, how a sole trader business is an unincorporated business. Unincorporated business. What does it mean by? A sole trader business, mostly a sole trader business and a partnership as well, they both are unincorporated businesses. What does it mean by owner is not different from the business? They both have the same identity, first of all. Secondly, just read this question. An owner is the same legal entity as the business. There is no difference between them. There is no legal difference between the business and the owner. The sole trader holds the full responsibility of all the losses, all the liabilities in case the business collapses. In case the business collapses, because you are not different from your business. In company, when the business becomes a company, whether it's a private limited company or a public limited company, the real owners have an advantage that they become separate from the business. Business is different. In case the business goes in loss, their personal belongings and they themselves will not be hurt by any ways. But over there in sole trader, in case the business collapses or goes bankrupt or something like that, you will be jailed, or even your personal belongings as well will be taken away. Okay, they are all at a risk. That is called unincorporated business. Read it again, you will understand. Unincorporated business means the owner is the same as legal entity as the business, and there is no legal difference. No legal difference. Keep it in your mind, legal difference. There is no legal difference between business and the owner. A sole trader holds full responsibility of all the losses and the liabilities in case a business collapses. A sole trader might also lose his own personal belongings as well in case of losses or bankruptcy. Getting my point? Understood? If the question comes in exam and they ask you what is called an unincorporated business, or how the sole trader or the partnership is an unincorporated business, that's what you have to explain. That's the reason I emphasize too much on this slide. Clear? Great. Moving on. Okay, now what are the advantages and disadvantages? So first, let's discuss some advantages of being a sole trader. Number one, a few legal formalities. First of all, you can start your sole trader business anytime. I give you an example. I always search for an example on my table. Okay, this is a GoPro camera. Okay, when this GoPro camera was newly launched, I bought a few cameras online and I sold them in local market. Okay, because I keep on doing different businesses wherever I find an opportunity and I say, hey, that's a good point. That's a good way to do something. Let's buy it and sell it. I keep on doing it. I keep on searching for different opportunities to do the business. So I bought not many, but a few GoPro cameras and I literally sold them in the market. So no legal formality or anything I had to follow. I simply bought something and sold it and I kept my profit in my pocket. Getting my point? So few legal formalities or sometimes even no formalities. All the freelancers, or mostly the freelancers, are the examples of sole traders. They don't have, no responsibility. They just made their accounts on WordPress, Fiverr or something like that, and they are running themselves. Getting my point? They're running their bread and butter, and no legal responsibility there. No legal formality, sorry. Okay, no profit sharing is also an advantage. What does it mean by? Whatever the profit I made after selling a few GoPro cameras, that went directly in my pocket. I didn't have to share that profit with anyone else. So this is a real big advantage of sole trader, that you don't have to share your profit with anyone. All the profit will go in your own pocket, man. Okay, privacy. Yeah. In sole trader, that's a good advantage. Privacy, nobody knows the ingredients, for example. I tell you, when I cook something on weekends, as a sole trader business, but I'm just giving you an example, nobody gets to know what are the ingredients I'm mixing in my biryani or in my chicken curry or any food I'm preparing. So, number one, privacy. Okay, so if somebody is running a business, they know all the secrets of their business, or he or she knows all the secrets of the business. They don't have to, public their accounts to anyone. They don't have to share the information with anyone. Privacy. Okay, anybody? So first of all, privacy. They don't have to share their accounts, and they know the secrets or the secret ingredients of their business. So this is an advantage for a sole trader business: privacy. Okay, personalized services. In sole trader, it's actually easier to offer personalized services to your customers. I give you an example. There is a superstore just in front of my house, and that's a very nice superstore, a departmental store, you can say that. Whenever I go for shopping, so once I'm done, once I check out, I pay everything, they say, sir, don't carry your luggage and so on. We will send the worker, and the worker picks up everything and he drops everything on my doorstep. Are you getting my point? So it's quite easier for a sole trader, but that's a sole trader business. It's quite easier to give the customer personalized services, which is not the case if I go to Walmart. They're not going to do it because hundreds of millions of people are visiting, so they cannot identify the needs of individual customers. Being your own boss. This is not the last, okay? Being your own boss, man, if you're running your own business, if you're a sole trader, you don't have to answer anyone. First of all, you are not answerable to anyone. If you take a day off, you don't have to submit your medical leave. Just for example, you don't have to, if you are late, if you are going to drop your kids, and if you're late to your office, you're not answerable. In case the business suffers a huge loss, you're not answerable to anyone else, and you become your own boss. So that is an advantage, a serious advantage of being a sole trader. Moving on. Easy to set up. That's quite easy to set up, man. I give you an example. I simply bought this online. I sold it in the local market. Easy to set up. Getting it? I'm teaching you. I am a visiting faculty of different universities. I'm giving my services online. I sell that. Okay. Different trainings and so on. I sell that. That's quite easy. I simply made my YouTube channel. I launched my website. I have my own. I registered myself somewhere and I started my business, man. Getting my point? So sole trader business is quite easier. Complete control. So in sole trader business, you have got complete control on all the operations, workers, and everything. Why? Because you don't have to ask permission from anyone, and no one is there to, to interrupt in the operations or ask you, hey, why are you doing that? And something like that. So you have full control on everything. So that's a nice thing, being a sole trader. Flexible and react to change. Yeah, like I give you an example. Same supermarket, which is there in front of my house. Just a few months back, one of the government institution, they visited that supermarket and they suggested, they said, remove everything which is there on the door, like all the advertisements, all the posters, and all the stuffed toys and everything. They said, remove everything. This is our order. Okay? Within a few hours, I saw that whatever the changes they recommended, they made changes. Okay? So that's quite easier. They are flexible because being a sole trader, it's quite easy to react to change. If there is a change in the market, for example, if you are a sole trader business and you are making different shirts, okay, it's quite easier for you to change the design because, for example, that design is now in the market. So it's quite easier for you. Simply, okay, fine, whatever the demand is there in the market, just respond to that change and make changes in your product. So it's quite easier. Flexibility is an advantage of being a sole trader business. Can establish personalized relations. I give you an example, just gave you an example. So when they drop all the stuff, all whatever I shop, they drop at my doorstep, they make a very good relationship with me. They have already made a very good relationship, a very strong relationship with me. So whenever they see me, whenever I see them, we both greet each other. And I'm not the only one who's getting these services. Okay, there are hundreds of people and they have developed a very good relationships with them. Getting my point? Even if sometime, for example, if he comes to me and he asks for some personal favors, I will not say, hey, sorry, obviously, because he has got, he has developed good relationships with me. Moving on. So advantages of sole trader are not, I cannot say that these are the only advantages, but these are the prominent advantages of being a sole trader. Moving on. Disadvantages of sole trader business. First of all, unlimited liability. I gave you an example of like I explained you how the sole trader business is an unincorporated business. Okay, same thing. Unlimited liability means in case the business makes a loss or goes bankrupt, all the personal belongings or even the owner himself or herself will be at risk. They can be jailed just because of that. Their personal belongings can be taken away. So it has got unlimited liability. The liability is not limited to the business. Even their personal belongings as well are on stake. Getting my point? Limited sources of finance. Yes, this is a disadvantage. Like your sources of finance will be limited to your own saving, or it's not so easy for a sole trader to get the bank loans. And obviously, if he is able to obtain some bank loans, that's not so easy to get huge loans or something. Banks will put a lot of restrictions on them, a lot of terms and conditions they have to meet. So this is a disadvantage of being a sole trader, that your finance is limited. You have limited access to finance. Okay, stress and workload, everything. Same supermarket, I will give you an example. I have seen him doing everything. He is the one who acts as an HR manager. He hires and fires people. He manages the cash. He is the one who makes orders. He's the one who deals with all the legal formalities, everything. So basically being a sole trader, even if you are running a t-shirt business, a shoe business, even if I am a teacher, excessive workload on me. I have to prepare my lecture. I have to set up my camera. I have to set up my lighting. I have to record the lecture. Then I have to send it to editor. And then I have to recheck it. Then I have to upload it. Sole trader, man. Getting my point? So extra work is a disadvantage. Not extra, I would say, but excessive work, because there is no one else to help you out, to share your workload. You're the only one. A sole trader is the only one who will bear the full pressure of work. Okay, high risk. Obviously, there are a lot of high risks involved. Like you are the only one who is a decision maker. You can make wrong decisions, and there is no one else to give you some suggestions or something like that. A lot of high risk, so you can make wrong decisions as well. If you have got high risk involves everything. If you have got too much workload, that's a high risk. If you have limited sources of finance, that's a high risk. Like maybe you need some money. You need some finance in order to expand your business, but you can't do it. Are you getting my point? So no or limited economies of scale. Economies of scale. The last one. If you haven't watched my video, I have already made a video in English and Urdu language both. There is a link, Economies of Scale. Go and check out the video, Economies of Scale. Let me explain you. Economies of scale is basically like when your output, shortly I'm explaining, but over there I explain economies of scale, internal and external economies of scale, and so on in details. Economies of scale is basically like when your output is increased, in easiest words I'm explaining, when your output is increased, somehow you as a business will be able to reduce your per unit cost, average per unit cost. So if the output is, increased excessively or increased too much, so this normally happens in the case when the business becomes so big, when there is a huge market. Okay, why Pepsi and Coca-Cola are so cheap? Because they are producing on mass scales. So when they are producing on mass scales, fixed cost is fixed, only the variable cost is moving up and down. So due to that factor, they are able to keep their average prices low. But in sole trader, when normally the businesses are quite small, so it's quite difficult for them to enjoy the purchasing economies of scale, or sometimes even technological economies of scale and something like that, because they will not be able to buy the stuff or the ingredients or material used in production on large scales. Are you getting my point? Because there is not a huge demand of their product in the market. So sole traders are normally the small businesses. So this is a disadvantage of, this is one of the disadvantages I would say of being a sole trader business. Getting my point? Moving on. All right. Continuity is a disadvantage. In case if I am running this channel, God forbid, if I die, then nobody's going to take care. Okay, the business will be finished. So continuity, in case the sole trader dies, there is a least chance that somebody will be able to continue with that business because he is the owner. When the owner dies, the business will be finished, shut down. Are you getting my point? So continuity is a disadvantage. No benefit from the expertise of the partner. There is no one else to suggest. If I had a partner, just for example, he or she would definitely suggest me, hey Shayan, this is the best way to record your video. This is how you should deliver the lecture or something like that. There is no one else, so I am, whatever I'm thinking as best I can, I'm doing it. So same thing happens in sole trader, that no one is there to suggest him or her what is best and what is the innovative way to do this work. He will be the only person to think and make the decisions. Are you getting my point? No continuity, yeah, the same one. Yeah, both of them are same. So let's move over the lesson reviews. What did we study today? I explained you the definition and I also explained the concept of sole trader. I applied the concept on some real life examples. I explained you what is called an unincorporated business, and I explained you prominent advantages and prominent disadvantages of being a sole trader. This was my lecture on sole trader. I hope you have understood today's topic, sole trader. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I request you to please do so. If you have already subscribed to it, thank you so much. But please refer my channel to others so that they can also benefit from my lectures. Thank you so much for watching.